right, it's another edition of Who the Heck Are We? Episode 55. Here we are. Again, the Who the Heck Are We is a part of the Globally Ballin Network. You can find us on YouTube on the Globally Ballin Network, so better hit like and subscribe to the Globally Ballin Network. And part of that network is the Globally Ballin Podcast hosted by Aaron Aronson. If you want to listen to different sporting news here and around the globe, better tune in to the Globally Ballin Podcast. Also part of the Globally Ballin Network is 5 Minutes With, analysis from different athletes with regards to their game tapes, their breakdown of their plays in their previous matches or different games that they had. You can hear it with 5 Minutes With. And then another part of the Globally Ballin Network is Hang Time with Denise Tinsay. The Pro League is slowly closing in. Malapit na siya mag-umpisa. And I'm pretty sure you want to hear more about your favorite volleyball athletes. And then finally, we have an eternity of basketball with Charlie Cuna, Sid Ventura, and Noel Zarate. You can listen about the glory days of Philippine basketball at maririnig yan sa An Eternity of Basketball. By the way, guys, this episode of Who the Heck Are We is brought to you by Chops to Go, New Era Cat Philippines, Sinuluban Farms, George's Delight, Arfatelli Ice Cream, and Cuts Apparel. Once again, Cuts Apparel, if you want to have those cycling gears that you see on their picture right now, and other different uniforms, corporate or sportswear, you can hit them up at Cuts Apparel PH. Again, thanks for our gear, guys. Cuts Apparel, Claudia, it's nice to see you right here. But apparently, Claro's having the day off, kaya may makakasama tayong isang bonggang guest dito, Claudia.
Bongga talaga.
Bongga kasi wala pa, off the air pa lang, nagpapatugtog na siya, gaganda pa ng mga pinapatugtog niya.
Sana pagpasok niya, no?
Tingnan natin kung meron siyang entrance dito, but he has been our guest in the past, pero ngayon, siya yung magiging isa nating co-host dito. So, kung natin patalagin, pasok natin si Papa B, Boyd Season.
Hey, everybody! Thank you for inviting me tonight. It's such an honor to now be a co-host on your show. I'm sure that your audience won't mind me invading your space, but I hope to be able to contribute to the discussions that we'll be having today. Thank you.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, definitely. Because Claudia and Papa B, we have a very, very special guest right here. It's like, we feel na para tayong nasa mga American night shows na they're promoting different kinds of books, diba? TV shows or movies. But this time right here in this episode, for the first time we are going to do this, we are going to talk about a book. Diba?
Yes.
A book about sports, a very inspirational book that is entitled Winning Still. I can't wait to read this book right here once I get my copy. Pero ngayon, it would be so fun to talk with the authors, all the people behind Winning Still. Kaya, Claudia, Papa B, ipasok na natin sila dito. We have first Coach Noli Ayo. Here we have here.
Good evening.
Oh, good evening.
Thank you for that clap, Boyet.
Kaya nandito si Papa B. Oh. And of course, kasama din Coach Noli dito, another author of this book of Winning Still, none other than Miss Dina Bernardo. My goodness. Hello, Miss Dina. Hi, Miss Dina. Bati ka muna.
Hi, everyone. I'm glad to be here. Thank you for inviting us. Kwentuhan
Yes,
lang
thank
tayo
you.
mamaya.
Kwentuhan lang. Purong kwentuhan lang. Pero kumpletuhin natin tong kwentuhan na to kasama yung isa pa sa mga brainchild nitong Winning Still. He's been our past guest here. Nabitin tayo sa kwento niya at ngayon makakasama ulit natin siya. Let's bring in Coach Oliver Almadro.
Hello. Good evening po.
Coach, ito may extension yung kwentuhan natin dito. But again, guys, thank you for accepting our invite. Mag-umpisa muna tayo dito kay Coach Noli. Coach Noli, just straight up, I wanna know, paano ba nag-umpisa tong si Winning Still? I mean, nung pinopromote nyo pa lang, grabe to. Parang, pagtingin mo pala sa title, ang daming story ng mga atleta. I know it's inspiring right in front. Pero, how did it all start?
Yeah, Jay, thank you. Boyet, thank you. And Claude, thank you for inviting us. And to my fellow writers, Coach O and Dina. pag mini-message ko sila lagi ng my writer and then their name. You know, talagang parang feel namin yon. To be honest, before I go back to a brief history, isa ako sa mga huling naka-receive ng book because sinepa sa akin to Davao eh. So I think it arrived a few days ago. Dumating siya hapon. Parang di ko siya binuksan. I opened it the morning after kasi I have my alone time between 5 a.m. to 7 a.m. So doon ko talaga siya binuksan pag nung ako lang with my coffee. And I really had to feel it and just to, alam mo yun, I'm a sports person. I coached for 10 years and I had my share of ups and downs. And yung up na binigay sa akin itong librong ito is a little bit unique. And I cannot still believe na nagsimula lahat ito sa isang Zoom gathering during the first 100 days of the pandemic, which started last year. March 27 to May 15, that's how it started. And Dina was one of the first speakers. Nakita ko pa yung, pag nagkaroon kayo ng libro, meron kaming mga sketches dito. Kung napansin niyo, the sketches, it was made by Alessandra Lanot, a very talented artist. Ang hiningi sa amin, yung simple thing, little ordinary thing that made your life or that makes your life in sports extraordinary. Ang binigay ko, yung listahan ko ng first set of speakers ng MWF session na sinulat ko lang sa likod ng isang resibo. I just wrote the first 1, 2, I still have it because naka-frame na ngayon eh. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 names from March 25 to second day of April kasi may Holy Week yun. And it started there, March 27 to May 15. 21 sessions participated by more than 1,000 people from across the country and even outside. Our speakers were from the Philippines, Europe, North America, and Canada and US. And sabi ko, that's really how it started. And there was no plan of the book. But towards the tail end of that, and I think I want to mention this because every time I'm given the chance, I would insert this part. Doon sa 21 session na yon, may kasama akong isang magaling na sportsman. He gave me much confidence to really just, bring it on. Parang, Noli, sabi niya, just do what you do, facilitate. Pag nag-breakout session, give me all the big names. You don't have to do anything else. So kasi nagsisimula pa lang rito yung breakout rooms. Dati walang mga breakout rooms ang webinars.
Yes.
Ano lang, di ba?
I remember that.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
So this guy I'm talking about is Rico Navarro. And you might have, baka nakilala niyo sa...
Yes, I know Rico very well.
Di ba? Boyet, yes, basketball, sa hosting, sa boxing, sa lahat, sa Cebu, siya yun.
Yes.
So Rico stuck with me from day 1 until May 15, until that last day. And towards the end, naalala ko pa to, nung May 15 kami nag-last day, and we were so high na high kami noon, May 16, nag-gathering ang mga speakers. At ito yung una kong, and I had, before Rico told me to write a book, nag-breakout session kaming mga speakers na pairs lang, dala-dalawa lang. So hindi tatlo, pair lang. At pumunta ako sa pairing ni Coach O at ni Akiko Thompson. Random lang yon. Random lang. I decided to just jump in any of the rooms. Napasukan ko yung room nila. At dun ko nakita ang magic between two notable sports individuals being in one room and being fans ng isa't isa.
Yeah.
At ang sa akin, ang nasa isip ko noon, too bad, it's gonna end tonight. It's gonna end tonight. Parang, and so I felt that. And then when that session ended, Rico and I reconvened. Sabi niya, ako dala-dala ko yun. Sabi ko, last day na ngayon. Rico told me, wanna write a book about this? Sabi ko, this might be a compelling reason to bring all of them back together. Diba? Kasi hindi tayo sanay magsulat ng libro. Ang Pilipino, for some reason, we're not a country who writes our stories.
No.
That's right.
And that's how it started.
Just to cut you off a bit there,
of course.
Coach Noli. Athletes, for that matter, are not very well versed to write, period.
Agree.
To write.
Agree.
Because
Si Coach tumatawa.
even to verbalize their feelings, there's difficulty in verbalizing or communicating how they feel
You're
because
right.
they're
You're
not
right.
used to that. Eh. They're very timid. It's either being timid or not having that opportunity to really voice out what they
Yeah.
feel or what they think because that was never the realm. It was never their realm eh. Hindi nila mundo
Yeah.
yun eh. Ang mundo nila, mag-training, maglaro. That's it.
Yeah.
So there's a bit of difficulty with that.
That's
So to
very true.
continue, Coach Nodi.
Yeah, and I think the reason why Rico suggested that, and of course, if you know his background, he's a writer.
Yes.
He writes. So it was easy. It was I think it was part of his DNA. Why don't you write about it? And ako naman, I was really looking for another reason to bring all those writers back together for a good reason. Na parang compelling enough that they would respond to me again. Kasi alam mo, nakakahiya ng patawagin ko uli lahat yun for no
That's right.
reason at all. So we discerned about it. I think it took me mga 2 to 3 weeks to really nagbabatuhan lang kami ng idea ni Rico and then said, Rick, I'm gonna send out, gumawa pa ako nung, alam mo, hindi ako techie, so gumawa pa ako ng PowerPoint, big screen cap ko. That was and I parang inviting you to a project. And then, hindi ako techie, screen cap, inviting you to a project. Let's meet via Zoom. So, but of course, knowing that they are VIPs in Philippine sports, they are all alphas, influencers, I had to make sure that I just don't blast the email or the messenger. I had to go one by one. Iniisa-isa ko, darating ka ba?
Personalize.
alam mo kasi
Yeah,
nakakahiya. Di ba, first, kasi malay mo, walang dumating dun sa big group. Di ba? So I had to
Yung
make
commitment eh.
isa-isa.
Kailangan ng commitment eh.
Kailangan may buy-in. And of course, alam mo yun, I had to, and if you look into that writers, iba-iba ang kanilang spectrum. There are introverts, there are extroverts. Di ba?
Yes.
May season, may mga baguhan. So I had to approach them differently. And yeah, and Rico and it was a tag team. And then I'm just so happy that they all showed up. Parang alam mo yun, I'm just so happy that and alam mo kung hindi sila sumipot, walang libro. Oh my God. Yeah, I spoke too much. I spoke too much already.
but that is a wonderful story, Coach Noli. But again, Coach Rico, God bless his soul, he has been a big part of this. Pero I wanna ask Miss Dina. Miss Dina, gusto naming malaman kung nung kino-conceptualize naman to ni Coach Noli, ano yung ginagawa nyo nung before this whole thing came to fruition? Ano yung starting point nyo naman? Tapos, up to the point na parang nag-intersect na kayo with Coach Noli with regard to this project.
So, like Coach Noli said, I think the beginning of the pandemic, we were like kind of reaching out. Kasi lahat naman tayo, everybody who loves sports was just talagang so heartbroken. Ano ba namang mangyayari? And so I remember being so depressed and then sabi ko, and I think halos sabay kami ni Coach Noli kasi I said, then let's reach out to the community. So I have an organization called Sport Management Council of the Philippines, or SportPhil, and we really want to promote best practices in sports. And sabi ko, so why not reach out? So one of the first things we came out was a webinar called Training Athletes in ECQ. Kasi yun ang tanong lagi. And Coach O was there as a reactor, and I had Jay Futalan, and I had Marcos Manalo of UP. Kasi yun naman ang tanong. And then it kind of started with other webinars like flexible learning methods in PE. Kasi now how do we keep our children playing? I even had something like game-changing sport entrepreneurship. Because maybe we can talk about it later, and part of the article that I wrote is that athletes are actually natural entrepreneurs, no? So we can talk about that later. But so when Coach Noli said that, tamang-tama, I had just also written an article for a column kasi kami sa LaSalle, I teach in LaSalle, and we're required to come out with articles. And I felt so strongly about what happened sa pandemic. I even called the article Bouncing Forward. But in the book, ultimately, I gave it a more sporty slant because my background talaga is business. And I just happened to enter competitive competition, being a competitive athlete after after I studied my MBA and everything. So I have a very different lens when it came to analyzing sports in the sport industry in the Philippines.
My
Was it was
goodness.
it was it
Go ahead,
was
family.
it was it difficult, Dina, to incorporate all the many experiences that you've had pre-pandemic and during the pandemic? What were the conflicts? I mean, intellectually, what were the conflicts?
You see, we had a sudden disruption of life as we know it. And that technically you call a disaster. So, sanay naman tayo sa disaster as a Philippines, di ba? You have natural disasters, you have man-made disasters like conflicts. And this is another one of those disasters. And so, from a management perspective, it's then how do you deal with crises, di ba? How do we deal with crisis? So, was there a conflict? No. When have we never been in crisis before? But of course, this is very novel. We don't know what's going to happen. We cannot see the ending, and that's what made it very challenging. Na parang even now we're still experiencing. That's why when you say new normal, aba, ito na ang normal. It's not new. This is the normal. In any semblance of going back to what it was, it's not gonna happen anymore. We just have to keep going forward.
That's right.
I
Parang
agree.
you have to adapt to the new what's happening.
This is the normal.
This is it. This is it. Yeah.
This is
I
it.
want to go. I want to go to Coach O. Coach O, you're a coach, naman. You had your UAP. In fact, I believe your UAP was cut. Was cut during that
Yes.
time. No, how was it like? I met you actually. I met you through the forums and the meetings we had with Coach Noli, and you were one of the reactors. Ikaw naman, Coach Noli. I mean, we discussed this before in our episode, no? How was did you ever think that you were going to write a book? And then how was your mindset coming into to this project?
Well, first, I really didn't know na makakasulat pala ako eh. But first of all, ako yung unang-unang, we are the first one who were affected by the pandemic, by the halt of the sports. First of all, we are the defending champion. And it's the first championship of Ateneo Women's Volleyball after 3 years na wala. And then nag-champion kami. And then we want, and I'm really determined to get that back-to-back championship. And then suddenly, pandemic came. Walang sports. And then I have 5 players na pinabalik ko pa from graduation. Kumbaga nag-master sila para bumalik lang on that year. That's Kat Tolentino, that's Joanna Maraginot, Jamie La Victoria, and talagang pinabalik ko pa sila para lang maglaro ulit on their last playing year. Bumalik pa sila. And then, suddenly, UAP was halt. Akala namin before, unti-unti, napopostpone siya. Then suddenly, hold na talaga. So ako, hoping na meron. So what I did is, what I'm going to do? And then suddenly, nalaman ko na meron sila Coach Noli na meeting with the coaches, nagpapa-meeting siya. And then I asked him, and he was my friends because of the Ateneo, of course, yung mga volleyball community, Ateneo community. I asked him, pwede makisit in. I just
Sit
first
in
asked him, pwede sit in lang ako. Pwede ba mag-sit in sa session nyo? Then nag-sit in po ako. And after that, he invited me to be a reactor. And after that, he invited me na to be one of the speakers. And then, Ma'am Dina, ganun din, in-invite nila ako reactor and then one speaker na. And then, slowly, I'm really interested now in going online sessions, seminars, kasi I have to develop myself also. That's what I have to do. Sabi nga sa amin ni Father Jet noon Father Jet, we have to be treasure hunters in this modern world. Kasi wala we are home We really have to be treasure hunters in this field. So wala akong ginawa kundi mag-enroll. I even registered sa ESPN Summit. Kahit 2 a.m. yan, pinupuntahan ko yan. And I really thank Coach Noli for advising us na sige, online lang. And then he is the first one who told me na mag-jot down ka. Every seminar, siguro ang dami ko, ganyan kakapal, mga notes. And then knowing na may apply ko siya right away. And then talaga, I didn't know na magkakaroon ng ganitong opportunity. So, sobrang thankful ako kay Ma'am Dina na part ako sa mga sessions nila. And of course, Coach Noli and Sir Rico and Ma'am Gang Badoy Kapati for giving us this chance and opportunity na makapagsulat talaga.
Alam
It's
mo,
amazing.
Coach,
Yeah.
Coach O, you mentioned the name of Gang Kapati. Well, from what I've gathered, Gang is so instrumental as far as the mental wellness of a lot of athletes are concerned. More so, our national athletes. I know for a fact that she works directly with Haydn Diaz, with Pinkay Amit, and many others. And a lot of people do not realize that in the past 490 plus days of the pandemic, I'm keeping count. I am
Kinount talaga, ha, boy.
Yes, he's
for the
counting
past
it.
490 plus days of the pandemic, the biggest setback or the biggest obstacle is not necessarily the lack of the physical training, but more the mental health of athletes in general.
That's right.
Because you're talking about frustration, you're talking about them not being able to do what they love, for them not used to being stagnant. The stagnation really kills you. And that is the one thing that really hampers the development of a athlete. Because sabi nga nila in any athlete's life, the biggest obstacle is being able to think that you can do it. It's mental. Primarily, it's mental. Then comes the physical. Am I making sense, Coach Noli?
Coach Noel, you're on mute lang.
You're on mute, Coach Noli.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. In fact, meron pa akong napapag-usapan namin to na we would even this feelings, yung hurt natin sa loob, mas lalabas ito pag bumalik na tayo sa face to face. Alam mo yon, yung mga frustrations that we had, even yung mga the losses, the personal losses we had, friends we've lost along the way that we weren't able to grieve. I mean, I know of friends, I lost good friends who, na parang kala mo andyan sila pero wala na.
Yeah.
'Di ba? Because very fast ang nawala agad. And I mean, and I know that Gang has been working with not only with Heidelin and Bing, but with the POC's Athletes Commission. And we're just so happy that Gang was also came into the picture and made things easier for us by agreeing to be the publisher, and then the writing
Mentor.
coach, silang dalawa, writing mentor, silang dalawa ni Rico, they were doing the tag team there. No, so my role there was the glue guy. I was the glue guy. I was holding the group together while their Gang and Rico were trying to identify yung mga skill set na kailangan ng bawat isa. Because some of the writers, like Dina, found it easy to finish. Some of our writers, pag sabi namin na submission na yung isa nga, nung nag-meeting kami ngayong gabi, kinaumagahan may sinubmit na. 1,500 words.
Wow!
Inspired.
Yeah.
Wow!
This is special shout out to Coach Russell Raypon, Phil Am, na ngayon umuwi siya sa Pilipinas, Boyet and Jay and Claude. Nandito siya ngayon, kasama pa lang nila Dina kanina.
Wow.
Just to be with the group. That's how close we became because of this experience.
Wow.
And kanina, first time nila magkita face-to-face. But it's as if they've been together for quite some time na. Pero first time nila mag-meet kasi lahat kami Zoom lang eh.
Let me ask this for Coach Dina and Coach Oli. From your experiences with Philippine sports in general, has there been really an opportunity for athletes, I mean in general, across the landscape, for athletes to really bond together? Of course, when you attend an international competition, of course, diba, you're in one team, diba, you travel together, you compete with countries and all that. But I'm talking about the scenario of the community in general, being able to tell each other's story, being able to empathize with each other on a personal level. Has Has that been a normal occurrence, or has that been happening often in past years, or in the landscape of Philippine sports as you know it?
Wow,
Well,
funny you should ask
uh,
that. Ay, sorry, Coach O.
go
Well,
ahead, ma'am.
funny.
Go ahead, ma'am. Go ahead, ma'am, Dina.
Thank you, Coach O. Pasensya na po. Kasi it was really so fresh. Kasi kanina, so tama si Coach Noli, I met with sila Coach Russell, Akiko was there, Bella Fernando was there, and Tony De La Cruz was there. And interestingly, kasi pag active athlete ka, parang walang panahon masyadong, okay, you're there, you will eat together, pero wala talagang masyadong mahabang panahon to bond kasi pagod ka, you'd rather rest. And dati, I don't know if Coach Noli knows this, Mariel and I met, Mariel Benitez, because we were part of the Athletes Commission. When the Athletes Commission of the POC was revived, I was actually part of that. Ang hirap to get the time na ma-align eh. Kasi nagte-training siya. But now, talking to sila Tony and hearing almost the same stories. And mind you, I don't think the people truly know what happens behind the scenes sa atleta. It's something that we just talk about ourselves. And sabi nga namin, Coach, after Winning Still the book, baka kailangan Winning Still Productions. May teleserye na tayo because nobody really knows what we go through.
Thank you for the idea.
Sad to say, the politics and everything, wow, sabi ko nga, and I was listening to Tony, sabi ko, wow, I guess we should do this more often kasi nakakahinga kami ng sama ng loob and the good things and the bad things. And one of the things that that Tony really brought up is the mental health. Yan, pinag-uusapan nyo. The mental health, because you're taught as athletes, suck it up. Diba? Do what you're told. And then, like what Boyet said, na we don't have a chance to talk as athletes because that's our orientation. Just listen, obey. And sometimes pag may mali nang nangyayari, hindi kami nakakapagsalita because that's our orientation. Even my students, may nangyayari na nga, hindi pa rin sila nagsasalita. Sabi ko, and I was thinking, well, why does that happen? Kasi as athletes, we're just taught to listen and follow. We have just compartmentalized it to that.
Is it also, let me just add to that so that Coach Oli can react to this. Coach Oli, you can add to what Ma'am Dina was saying, but let me put a little bit of a wrinkle to what I was saying. Of course, for every athlete, there's family. Family, kamag-anak, kaibigan. Pero iba yung dating pagkapwa mo atleta kausap mo eh. Hindi ba?
Yes. Well, ako, I've been coach for, tagal ko ng coach sa college. So yun ang number yan. Sa college talagang doon natin na nakikita eh. Kung nag-uusap-usap ba and then the national team. There's not that I have known na magagather mga atleta na magkukwentuhan about their life. Siguro normally, after tournament, merong last night of something social, something like that. Pero talking about what happened to you, what happened to your training, kasi what happened to you in your personal life, wala talaga. So, the only thing na tayo, yung normal people, the only thing, malalaman nila ang buhay ng isang atleta is by looking the newspaper sa likod, di ba? Sabi nga nila, if you want to see the success of an individual, pag gising mo sa umaga, punta ka agad sa sports page, doon makikita buhay, ano pinanggalingan and everything. So, wala talagang chance na makapag-usap or anything. And what I remember is, I remember sa amin sa jam, di ba Coach Noli, sa jam, meron talagang opportunity, may chance. May ginagawa yung jam, yung Jesuit Athletic Meet. Meron silang chance na pupunta lang dito mga atleta, magkukwentuhan, mag-iiba-ibang grupo. May program yung jam doon, yung Jesuit Athletic Meet. But I don't know other athletes. For example, kami ba at Tenere vs. Lasal, after a tournament, magkukwentuhan ba kami? No. Hindi kahit pagkukwentuhan ba namin, no, pinaghirapan namin sa training? No. But meron silang mga group of friends na mga kaibigan, yes. Pero yung tipong all of the athletes magkukwentuhan. I don't think merong way na para ganito ikwento kung ano yung nangyari sa'yo, what happened to you during the pandemic or during your training or your journey towards the championship. Most likely, wala pa. Pero hopefully, ito nga sabi ko nga, recently, we were invited in Ateneo de Davao. Ako, na-invite ako to talk with the college student of Ateneo de Davao and si Tim Tiamson of Lasal. Yun, ganong chance, nakapagkwentuhan kami. While doing this background, kwentuhan kami, what happened to you? Ganito ba? Pareho kami ni Coach Chip. Pareho kayo ni Coach Ramil. Something like that. Nakapag-usap. But with the use of this technology now, but before, wala talaga. No chance. So I guess there's a silver lining what happened. And then ngayon, meron pang ganitong klaseng opportunity for them to read stories.
That's right.
I have a question. I have a question. Just one quick one kay Coach Noli. Hearing the story of Ma'am Dina and Coach O, have you ever thought, while you're conceptualizing this with Mr. Navarro, na somehow magiging outlet ito ng mga athletes na magiging kakwentuhan nyo? Similar to the stories of Ma'am Dina and Coach O, na parang outlet na kasi wala kami nahihingahan, di namin na ikukwento to sa ibang tao. Like Ma'am Dina was saying, just suck it up, di ba? Pero yung mga frustration nila, hindi nila lalabas. Have you thought about that, na ito yung magiging idea ng book, Coach Noli?
Yeah, well, to be honest, Jay, I did think as far as that. Na parang it's not just collecting the thoughts of our writers and creating a book. It's also what's gonna be the effect. You know, kasi to be honest, hindi lang ito para sa amin. It's very clear to me, and a proof of that is a video na na-share ko sa grupo namin. We're a very close group na because we meet every month. May mga breakout sessions kami. But that's another story. But again, Jay, just to answer that, maliwanag sa isip ko, even when Rico was alive, maliwanag sa aming dalawa, na the book that we aim to produce through the partnership and collaboration with these notable individuals is something that the next generation can learn from. Not only from the stories they read, but from the example set by the book. Ano yun? We want them to realize the value of storytelling and the value of journaling. And lastly, the value of bringing the right people with you. Kasi pinaliwanag namin to. I think you would agree this. Lahat tayo matagal na sa sports. We operate as silos. Silos.
I agree.
This platform, this online platform broke those silos. But if there's one thing very intentional that we did, and this was Rico and me talking, was to choose the people. We intentionally chose the people. Hindi lang ito na, kasi maraming dumating sa MWF, more than 1,000. We really
Why
chose
was
them.
that? Why was that, Coach Noli? Why was there a singling out? to sound notorious about it. Why was there a singling out?
Siguro may criteria kami, no. Una is the writer should have been part of the MWF as a speaker, as a sharer, or a facilitator. Pero meron pa rin kaming kasama doon because ang partnership na ito is Rock Ed Philippines and Mindanao Peace Games. Proceeds of the book part of that goes to the Mindanao Peace Games. They should also be at least involved in the Mindanao Peace Games. Kung hindi man sila agad doon sa MWF, dapat naging bahagi sila ng Mindanao Peace Games. Because honestly, when I was thinking about this group of athletes, UAAP wasn't on my mind. NCAA wasn't on my mind. National athletes wasn't on my mind. What was on my mind, or in my mind, was the athletes of Mindanao, the young athletes of Mindanao, and the kind of example we are setting. Again, I'm just mentioning to you guys what was inside my mind during that moment.
Mm-hmm.
No, and Rico was supportive because he knows of our advocacy in Mindanao. He's he's one of those that were generous enough to write stories of what we do in the Mindanao Peace Games. No? So yeah, Jada, just to answer that question, yes, maliwanag sa amin na nais naming gayahin at sundan.
Once again, who the heck are we? You can find us on the Globally Ballin Network YouTube page. So better hit that share, subscribe button, like our videos, and you can also hear us wherever you get your podcast. Once again, who the heck are we? Is a part of the Globally Ballin Network, which produces the Globally Ballin podcast hosted by Aaron Arison. They talk about different sports that is happening here and around the globe. Also, part of the Globally Ballin Network is 5 Minutes with. If you want to have an in-depth analysis with different plays from different sports and different athletes, that's what you need to watch 5 Minutes with. If you want to hear about Philippine volleyball, this is what you need to hear. Hang time with Denise Dinsay. They got wonderful guests. They had Jaja Santiago on one of the episodes, so you better catch them out. And also, a part of the Globally Ballin Network is an eternity of basketball. If you want to take a trip down memory lane of Philippine basketball, Noel Zarate, Charlie Cuna, and Sid Ventura got you right there. They also have Jay Mercado on some of the episodes, so you better check them out. And again, a reminder, this episode is brought to you by New Era Cap, Chops to Go, Hinaluban Farms, Georgie's Delight, Arfatelli Ice Cream, and Cuts Apparel. They provided us with our gear, and they can also provide you with your corporate uniforms, sports apparel, and cycling gears, just as you see it right there. Just give them a message, Cuts Apparel PH. Now, back to our show.
Wow.
Hmm.
Galing.
That's actually the same question I was going to ask, no, Coach Noli. But I'll go to Miss Dina. When Coach Noli mentioned that chosen ang mga tao, right? Out of 1,000 athletes, like coaches, even from international speakers. When you got that notice saying you're a part of this project, what was going through your mind? I was like, oh my gosh, is this scary? What's going to be? Ano naisip mo?
Well, actually, I was very humbled and privileged. I mean, sino naman ako compared to Coach O? Grabe. or si Coach O, si Akiko. Oh my God. Diba? No, I was really so, honestly, I'm just overblown. And thank you, Coach Noli, for having that confidence. And I think it says a lot about in alignment ba? Na parang aligned kayo. And let me tell you, we hear the same stories from every sport-loving Filipino. So there must be a way to get this all together also. Diba?
Ayan, no, see, look at that. I mean, you're a lecturer for sports management in De La Salle, former team captain of the Philippine women's dragon boat team, and I believe you also won a gold medal, or you were in a gold medal in like SEA Games. SEA Games 2005 gold medalist for the dragon boat racing.
Yes.
Advocate athlete. Yes. So of course you would probably be chosen. Coach Noli, was that one of the criteria that you were looking at kay Ma'am Dina?
You know, we were looking for a lot of things. And to be honest, may kasamang dasal to Claude. Hindi lang naman to. I don't know if there was less of science, more of prayers and consultation with the late Rico Navarro.
Oh, okay.
It's less of science yon, to be honest, because I'm not a science person. But at the end of the day, ang lagi kong tinatanong sa sarili ko, at kami rin ni Rico, naalala ko yun, nung nakausap ko nga yung asawa niya, nag-verify pa yun na binago ni Rico yung rosary time nila para he won't meet up with me too late in the evening. Kasi sabi ko, Rick, hihintayin kita, tagal-tagal. So sabi, binago niya pa yon so that mapag-usapan talaga namin yung sino bang iimbitahan natin. Of course, ang isa sa mga kasama rito, ang isa sa mga namin is, they should be influencers. Influencers. Na pag nagsulat sila, merong sasama sa amin na from other silos. And we will eventually create a network that will no longer be silos. It's gonna be, it's an ecosystem. Which, to be honest, I'm just so proud. More than the book, actually, equally lang yung nararamdaman ko na-realize ko na we've forged or we've created a strong friendship, even if it was just via online. At ito na lagi kong, what will stop me from forging a stronger one in the future when I can do it na face-to-face? If I can do it online now, I should be more mindful about my face-to-face relationships. That, hey, I should work harder to make that one even better.
Not for anything. a light bulb just lighted up in my head, because now I'm looking at, or speculating about how our sports leaders for decades, okay, I might sound bitchy, but our sports leaders for decades have seemed to like neglected this particular aspect of the athletic landscape, wherein what we always hear about, what we always get to know about, are just training, are just successes or
Yes.
failures in the world of athletics, whether it be on the international stage or on the local stage. But we never get wind, or maybe we don't get wind of it. But for me personally, I've never heard of programs that were really very concerned and were very uh, aggressive in addressing mental health, in addressing the psychological well-being of our athletes, whether it be on the local stage or the international stage, or the 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 harmony, the harmonious condition of how our teams progress, of how our teams are developed, of how our teams are formed. Because sabi nga nila, di ba? You can compose a team of superstars, a team of superstars with a snap of a finger, but will they perform well? It's not a guarantee. Superstar teams have failed countless of times in any and a lot of sports disciplines. But who thrives? Teams that understand each other, that like each other, that have been able to forge that internal bond with each other, to
Yes.
really have a very strong unit. And in the bigger scale of things, I think that is one thing that the Philippine athletic landscape should have. Um, Coach Noli, Dina, Coach Oli, I don't know what your thoughts about these are, but let me throw that particular thought to Coach Oli, because you are now you are now the head of a champion volleyball team, and you even, as you said, you even have to let some players who are graduating or on their final year of eligibility come back. But what made them come
Yes.
back? Is it because they have this affinity with their players? 'Di ba? Yung factor na ganun eh. Importante yun eh.
Yes. Well, I would just teach, tinuturo ko ito in our For the Win Academy, yeah, nila Claude. Well, people doesn't know about, sabi niyo nga, Sir Boyet, it's people just know about the success and the achievements, and yung hindi nanalo, but they don't know what happened behind. What's the philosophy about it? Kumbaga parang anong philosophy ginamit ni coach for us to bond? Honestly, when I transferred from men's team to women's team, I don't know what to do. It's because I'm a coach for how many years in the men's team. So I just, in my philosophy, I just have to build the relationship. It's part of a coaching philosophy. I have to build that relationship, and I have to involve my coaching staff. I should let them know what's my plans. I have to show my athletes what values needed for us to win. And that, hindi alam ng mga tao yan. They just looking at talo, panalo, ay ang pangit ng laro, ay yung coach hindi alam ang ginagawa niya, but they don't know what's happening behind.
So true.
It's the philosophy. And I learned this, ako honestly, this coaching philosophy, I learned this hindi lang instant eh. Sa tinuturo ko to, it's because of the adversities, yung mga challenges namin as a coach. Yung tinanggal ako dati ni ganito, nawalan ako ng trabaho, natalo ako eh. So we build that challenges, and that through that challenges, nakukuha namin yung milestone. And yung milestone na yun, ipagyayapang namin at sasabihin namin sa mga athletes namin nagawa namin ito kahit walang nangyari. So it builds relationship, it builds bonding to your athletes, it builds your purpose as a coach and as a team. And yun ang
True.
importante nung nagkaroon kami ng parang bonding nung different coaches na part ng winning still. Part yon, marami ako napulot doon for in my coaching philosophy. Honestly, in my coaching philosophy, ang dami kong natutunan
Okay,
doon sa
Coach
group namin.
Oli. Sige nga. Sabi mo, marami ka natutunan eh. Sige nga. No. Hindi.
Yes,
Joking aside. You being a volleyball coach, with the other coaches from other sporting disciplines, what were the commonalities and what were the other elements? What were the other elements that made you all the more interested with how the other coaches were living out their lives?
Okay. First, it's in reality, all of us wants to win, right? Reality, all of us wants to win. But sabi nga sa amin, anong story behind it? You write your story. And if you want to make that story, you have to have a culture. From Big Africa yan. Tinatutunan ko yan sa mga kasamahan ko sa winning still. Di ba? If you want to change your story, kung ako, totoo naman to. So, nung narinig ko yun sa kanila, sabi ko, oo nga no. When I coach the women's team, hindi ako pwedeng gawin ko lang yung ginagawa nila dati. Ganun din. Nung nag-coach ako sa Ateneo, I came from Lasal, nag-Enyo ako, nag-Ateneo ako. And honestly, Ateneo during that time, the men's team was talaga laging 8-7. To, hindi naman sa inaano, 8-7, 8-7. Pero no panahon ng NCAA nila Sir Choi Kuwang ko, yan champion yan. Nila champion yan. Pero
okay lang hindi nanonood si Choi. Okay lang hindi nanonood si Choi. Okay lang yan.
Tingnan natin baka marinig eh. Sabi ko kay Sir Johnny Pilat baka makinig. Anyway. So, yun ang sinasabi ko na pagpunta ko dito sa men's team, anong storya? So I had to change that culture. And indeed, na-affirm yun nung isang writer. Sinabi ng isang writer namin, if you want to change your story, you have to change your culture. If you want to change your culture, change your story. Well, na-affirm yung philosophy ko na hindi po pwedeng go with the flow. Kailangan baguhin mo ang kultura kung gusto mong magkaroon ng storya. Right? So yun yung natutunan ko. But in my philosophy, nandun na yun. Na-affirm nung meron na kaming gathering of itong mga minds nitong mga ito. Doon ko na-affirm yun. And kay Ma'am Dina, sinasabi ko sa mga players ko, use your talent para maging entrepreneur. She's teaching that. Kumbaga parang, my athletes now, alam mo naman, ako honestly, tingin ko ngayon, mas maraming kinikita yung mga athletes than mga artista because of the endorsements. Kasi, sa ngayon,
Totoo yun!
I know, totoo. Kasi, di ba, kumbaga parang, yun ang sabi nga nila, pinakamurang advertisement is a sports. Kasi, di ba, nasa dito lagi, takbo ka ng takbo doon, isa. And then sabi ni Ma'am Dina, why don't you use your talent for you to live na hindi lang after hindi lang sports? And I learned that from Dina. At sinasabi ko sa mga athletes ko, gamitin nyo yung purpose nyo. That's their purpose. Their purpose to be an instrument and their purpose to help themselves also to earn. It's because of their talent. Right?
That's right.
So that's a philosophy. That's a philosophy of Nandina. That's a philosophy of Sir Vic. And I learned that from them. So, na-affirm lang yung mga coaching philosophy before, nabibigyan na siya ng pangalan ngayon na totoo pala. So that's it. Yun yung mga learnings and talaga natutunan na ma-affirm mo yung philosophy mo as a coach.
Kay Ma'am Dina,
Okay.
Jay, before
Okay.
for Ma'am Dina, you could hear from Coach All that he learned a lot from you. How did you naman, once when Sir Noli, Coach Noli said, okay, you're gonna write this. What was in your mind what was it that you were going to contribute to the book? Anong isusulat mo? Was it gonna be your experience or something that you wanna teach the youth or show to the youth that you guys could do this?
Wow, that's so loaded. But can I just say something? I really
Yes.
commend I really want to commend Coach O because see what management and leadership could do. I mean, he virtually used the same resources. And I probably didn't need additional money. It's just how he managed the team, how his aura was, how the culture that he built. And probably to answer Boyet's question, why aren't we getting out there? I think it's really a lot to do with management and leadership and how we treat the athletes. And sad to say, athletes are sometimes commodified. I
Oh
mean,
yes.
if you get out, marami pa dyan. Diba? And what does it send to the others naman? I mean, kung ganito lang pala ang sports, paano naman? But anyway, to go back to your question, Claudia, for me, I just felt so strongly about saying to everyone who's bothering to listen, hello, sports and physical activity are more important than ever. When I interviewed Toby Claudio of Toby Sports, he was saying that, wow, people had to come to his warehouse to pick up the treadmills. You know, and even in I talked to marketing analysts, you should see how the searches for fitness equipment, went up because I think people wanted kind of sat down and said, hey, I think there's something more important than just working the grind. It's so
And
stressful. Let me
earning
take
money.
care of
Yeah.
my health. Yeah.
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 And it's gonna help you tide the COVID better. Personally, I had COVID, okay, but I only had mild symptoms. Maybe I was doing something right. No, so I just wanted to say we still matter. Sports still matter, okay? And like what Coach Oliver said, part of my study kasi I'm taking my doctorate. So part of my study is athlete entrepreneurship, wherein athletes are actually natural entrepreneurs. The fact that you're in an arena, you have scouted your competitor, okay? You have planned your training. You have strategized what you will do to win. Now, those are traits of entrepreneurs. Ang kulang lang for them to leverage this in a future outside of sports is additional education, knowledge. Maybe you want to learn something about business. Maybe you want to learn something about
Yes.
entrepreneurship. Pero habang nandun sila, yung mga atleta are already accumulating the networks that they need for their future connections. So sayang, di ba? If we knew this, then we would see sport. Ang importante pala ng sports. At saka, because sport is such an emotional product, tama si Coach O tapatan mo ng celebrity and athlete, ang bango-bango ng atleta, di ba? Because they have not just, well, maybe the looks help a little bit, pero their physical skill, their prowess. It's very aspirational. You not just, kunyari, especially for women athletes, you just don't just get the women athletes, you also get the men who like to see strong women being very competitive on the field.
That's right.
Very compelling.
That was about, yun yung gusto kong itanong kay Miss Dina, because you've been talking about the aspect of athletes being a natural born entrepreneurs, diba? I'm just really curious that this book might also help athletes somehow secure their future, because I'm talking about athletes being not athletes for him. Di sila magiging atleta forever, diba? Meron silang may age limit yan. I'm just curious that first of, is it difficult to make athletes realize that they're entrepreneurs? And if so, what would be your somehow pinaka-basic yung suggestion dun sa certain athlete na yun na, wait, entrepreneur ka. Long after you're gone sa sports, magiging relevant ka pa rin, magiging influential ka pa rin. Is that a difficult aspect to teach to athletes?
Ang critical dyan, Jay, is the coaches and the support system around that athlete.
That's
Hindi
right.
yung parang train, forget studies. Oh my gosh. I think you can even combine the two. And an educated athlete is a smarter athlete on the field. I promise you that.
Yes,
How many
yes.
times have we seen athletes na dahil, maybe they lack the education, makakita ng puti, ano na sila, they lost already here, even before the first game came. But if you're educating
Yes.
them, I can look at you in the eye. Laban tayo. Diba? It
Yes.
makes them a smarter athlete.
Yes.
So, important for the support system, the entourage, the coaches, to also tell them now, you know what? train and make sure you study, get a degree, uh, and it's gonna help you. Just get a degree, diba? And take your study seriously. We don't train 8 hours a day. Diba, Coach O? Si Coach O, bait-bait niyan din.
Yes.
Yes.
We don't train 8 hours a day. Bait, diba?
Baka
Pag
marinig
nasa
ka po ng
field,
mga
eh,
players. Ma'am Dina, mapasubo ako.
sa court, si Coach O, parang ganun. Kaya nga, when I saw him in the
Sniper.
MWF, sabi ko, kilala ko to. Ay, si Coach O pala kasi nakangiti. Doon ko lang siya nakita nakangiti.
Always
So,
smiling.
Well,
And when I say entrepreneurial
Ma'am.
naman, it doesn't always mean negosyo. It could be corporate.
Yes.
Entrepreneurial means thinking out of the box. Yan, ang atleta.
Mm-mm.
You don't know what's gonna happen, right? Alam mo ba, pupunta dito yung bola? No, talagang, that's why, sayang eh. Can we harness this? And use it
Yes,
for, and tama tama kayo. If there's anything we're sure of, is that the life of an athlete is very finite. May hangganan yan. So what are you gonna do to continue your revenue streams beyond? You better prepare for that. No, sayang.
Coach
Coach
O,
O, you were
So-
saying.
Let's change that mindset
Ma'am
now.
I'll just add to Ma'am Dina. Yes, totoo nga po. Kagaya ko. They're just seeing ang strict ni coach eh. Pero what they don't see is, it is because of the passion. And I teach that to my athletes. We teach that to the athletes, the passion, the intensity. So sabi nga ni Ma'am Dina, yung support group kung ano yung nakukuha ni athlete, yun, parang yung book, kung ano yung mababasa nila dito, ito pala yung storya namin, ito pala yung gustong ipakita sa amin ni Coach O, ito pala yung kinukwento sa amin ni Coach O. So, ako, talagang I'm pushing to having faith in the future and having courage at the present. Yun ang sinasabi ko, maging matapang ka ngayon and faith in the future na ma-achieve mo anything that you want. So ngayon, mababasa nila ngayon sa book, ito pala yung sinasabi ni Coach O, na faith in the future and hope. Di ba? Hope and faith in the future, courage at the present. Akala nila, it's just because at the moment nasabi ko, nagba-viral nang ako sa mga hugot, akala nila sinasadya. Di ba? Actually, sa klase ko nga, assignment Every sa class namin sa For the Win Academy, every session, kailangan may hugot. but that hugot is the purpose. Yung sinasabi nga turo ni Doc Marisa yon, tawag lang dun hugot. But that's your purpose. Every day, sabi ko sa athletes ko, and right now, when you wake up in the morning, when you go to the practice, what's your hugot for the day? The hugot is not yung drama. What's your purpose for the day? What's your purpose for this tournament? What's your purpose for this year? And sabi nga ni Ma'am Dina, as a support group sa mga athletes natin, we have to tell them that. Kasi sabi nga natin, yung mga athletes are instruments. They are really instruments. Tayo mga coaches, background lang. So they are the instruments. Sila ang frontliner namin. And with this book, marirealize nila, athletes or non-athletes, ito pala yung buhay, ito pala yung sinasabi ni Coach O, ito pala yung sinasabi ni Ma'am Dina, ito pala yung ginagawa ng mga atleta, ito pala yung ibig sabihin ng time out kay Coach O, ito pala sabihin ng halt, ito pala ibig sabihin ng tigil muna. Diba? To reset para meron ulit ibibigay. So, yun yung pagdudugtong-dugtongin natin, the book, the coaching, the philosophy, everything, it's all here.
Ako, Coach, yes.
Sige, Claude.
Sige po yun. Then, I was gonna go kay Coach Noli. No. Coach, when the writers were, of course, contributing to what they were, to their stories, no, were you gaining getting excited that it was gonna come out, and then were you worried that it was gonna be was gonna be received negatively, or is it how is it gonna happen? What are the mindset of the people that will be reading this book? Going through the journey of reading their stories. How was it like naman for you?
In the writing process, we gave them a guide. Parang may theme lang kami na para just to set the boundaries of their reflections. So definitely it was a reflection. Go back to the first 100 days of the pandemic. Ano yung nasa utak nyo, ano yung recurring thoughts, and then just write about it, anything. It wasn't about the MWF session. It was just really self-reflection. But I made a mental note that whatever they would be writing, it's something that we will accept. And the end goal really is to elevate the bar of Philippine sports. Na hindi lang sa pag-create ng libro, but to really show what will happen if you bring the right people together. Matagal ko itong pinaniniwalaan, but when I went through this experience, to be honest, when I saw that Gila's team win in the Korea Games, and I saw Coach Tab's interview, sabi ko, ang ganda yata ng experience ni Coach Tab to, just to coach these talents. And then napapos ako. Because I also had an experience coaching talents like that, which is that the writers group. Parang alam mo yon, I'm graced with this. I was privileged and blessed to be given the role of the caretaker. Tagapangalaga lang ako. And alam mo yung salitang primus inter pares, first among equals. Yes. Lahat kami tabla-tabla. Nagkataon lang para siguro wala nang I took the role of taga-connect kung merong mga kakaus. Halimbawa ganito, if people would like to talk to our writers, I make sure that we don't burden some writers by paulit-ulit na sila. We want to make sure that that, and if nobody will take that role, magkakagulo. So ako, yun lang yung tagapangalaga. When Rico was alive, he was the Kuya Rico. Gang as the publisher was the teacher Gang. Siya yung pag pwede siyang maghirit ng ganito. Rico was the big brother bear.
Oh.
I don't know if you watched that film, The Brother Bear. Yeah.
Sige, Coach.
Well, I'm really proud. It's why. Yung kay Coach Noli, tatlo sila di ba? Coach Noli, Sir Rico, and Ma'am Gang. And I don't know, Coach Noli, kung pwede sabihin niya, yung mga behind the scenes natin. Yung behind the scenes namin. I'm so parang di ko lang kung mapapahiya ako noon. And then when I was writing, when I was trying to write, and then Sir Rico, ibabother ko siya. We are in the morning, sabihin ko, Sir, pwede ko ba kayo matawagan? Magtatanong ako, what's the problem? Ito po kasi sinusulat ko, ito yung ginaganon ko. Hindi, okay lang yan. And then si Ma'am Gang, ito isulat mo. Huwag kang mahiya. Ito yung gagawin mo. Coach Oli, maglagay ka ng mga tungkol sa volleyball. Huwag mo itago yan. Ay ko, Coach Oli, yan ganon. Then si Coach Noli naman, and before kami mag-start, niya na kami. Si Coach Noli kasi soft-spoken kasi yan eh. Soft-spoken na meron bang that thing na pinupush ka na maniwala ka sa sarili mo, kaya mo yan. So behind the scenes namin, parang ngayon naalala ko yun, when Sir Rico Navarro is saying, Coach, tanggalin mo yan, di maganda yan. Coach, ito, mas dagdagan mo nito. And Ma'am Gang is saying, add this mga words na to. Kailangan yung last sentence mo, yung last word mo is one syllable. Yung mga ganun ba? So it's napakasaya. Di ba? Yung silang tatlo, yung talagang tutok nila sa amin, si Ma'am Gang, si Sir Rico and Sir Noli. And I'm really happy na the writer in me, sabi ko nga, nag-creative writing lesson pa kami kay Ma'am Gang Badoy. Para lang dito nagkaroon nga kami ng mga Escalera Brothers dito nagkaroon ng school bukol dito.
Galing Serbia. Pawina galing Serbia yung Escalera Brothers.
Sandy. Sandy, tsaka si
Sandy. Coach Jong. Ako, salingkit ako doon kasi kami yung mga ayaw naming maggrupo kay Ma'am Gang. Kasi pag nag-grupo kami sa sigurado, ito ganyan. Huwag mo isulat. Ito isulat. Talagang takot kami sa teacher gang namin.
Stricto ba yun? Stricto. Boy, you had a question earlier before I cut you off. Sorry. Are you there?
Well, yeah. I just wanted to ask, in the midst of all of this, all of you were saying, we're telling stories of how a lot of the writers were initially very hesitant to do it because of the confidence factor that, of course, they were not writers, they were not used to writing pieces and all that, but eventually they were all able to. So bravo. But and I would ask Gang about this after we do this. I will ask her privately. 'Cause Gang's a good friend. Uh, for all of you that eventually got to read everybody's piece. I mean, I'm sure all of you were able to read everybody's piece. Not to make it sound as if you guys have favorites. Not to make it sound as if you guys have favorites, but whose piece for each and every one of you, whose pieces, I'll make it plural, whose pieces had a lot of resonance.
Let's start with Miss Dina. Gusto,
Oh,
gusto ko rin
sorry.
marinig yung mga favorite nila.
Ako
Miss
rin
Dina,
eh,
let's
ako
start
rin
with you.
Actually, so sorry because I hadn't had a chance. I had an operation and I was recuperating from my operation. So
Okay, so di mo pa
I will
nabasa.
be, hindi ko pa nabasa lahat. But
Okay, so
I'm
ranging
aware
tayo,
of their
ranging.
stories. So.
No, but okay. So okay, not let's not reference the book first, but amongst the discussions that you've had, of
Yes.
course, a lot. I'm sure that you have been able to like talk with everybody that was writing a piece on for the book. Whose story resonated with you?
I think I'm most not that I think I'm most curious about Coach Jong. I think even when I was talking to sila Akiko and sila Bella, I think they were Coach Jong would probably give a great insight of what really happened. He had made I think you will see how great a guy he is when you read his story about the infamous incident.
Anniversary niyan today.
Anniversary.
Really?
Anniversary
Today.
today. Yeah.
Today.
Really,
That
it's
was
very
today.
That was today,
uncharacteristic.
a year,
Oh.
a year,
July.
Year
Talaga?
today. Yeah.
a year
Two-
since.
2 years
Ah.
ago.
2 years
3
ago.
years ago.
Yeah. 3 years,
Sorry,
2018.
3
3 years
years ago, 2018. I was there.
You were there.
Yes, I
Then
was
you should
there.
read it. I think it
Mhm.
gives.
Sige,
Nobody
sige,
knows
Dina.
kasi I'm sorry, nobody knows the story behind, but iiyak ka daw talaga, sabi ni Akiko.
So yun yung kwento ni Coach Jong. Kumbaga, yun siya nag-center. Kung ano yung nangyari nun.
Yes,
Yeah, and
as I heard.
And
And actually, parang I really want a good alone time and then I will digest. And unfortunately, I haven't had that time yet.
Ako din I don't have the book yet Sabi ko nga I was telling Bingkay and Gang. Sabi ko, asan yung libro ko? Gusto ko may autograph ng lahat ng sumulat.
Oo nga.
We're starting
Tapos
na
sabi-
nga.
Tapos sabi niya, Boyet, that's a production. To have everybody autograph it, that's a production. Sabi niya, but I will present that. I will present that to the floor. That there will be fully autographed editions of the book. Because that will be something for me to keep. I mean, really keep and maybe sell on eBay in about 20 years.
Oh, don't do
Pwede.
that, please. Don't
Oh
do
my
that.
gosh.
Pwede
Don't do
pwede.
that, please. That's a treasure.
How about you, Coach Ol? Before I finish that question with Coach Noli. Ikaw, Coach Oli, kanino mga kwento ang medyo nag-resonate sa'yo?
Well, definitely I have to agree with Ma'am Dina kasi nga Escalera brother namin si Sir Coach Jong. I have to agree with
Talaga?
her. But madalas to nagiging partner kasi si Meggy. The story of Meggy Ochoa is really good also. Well, nakakagulat. I mean, I didn't know na ganun pala yung storya niya. Ako, isip ko lang din is puro achievement. Nagkaroon pala siya ng ganong klaseng storya. And the story of Coach Tax. The Tax, So, kasi ito yung mga naka-group ko to So I really know na yun. Tingnan nyo rin yun. Tingnan kagad nila. So, well, talaga, I agree with Ma'am Dina about Coach John kasi medyo emotional siya. Kumbaga parang actually sa meeting namin actually talagang kinonvince pa siya nila Sir Noli, ni Sir Rico at saka ni Coach Gang na yun ang isulat mo. No, kasi first and foremost, kinali mo, ayaw na niya pag-usapan eh. But with the courage, yun, sabi namin. And yun lang, syempre, lahat naman kami, okay yung mga story, but iba-ibang interest eh. So, what yung kay Maggie, it strikes me, one of the story that strikes me most. One story of Maggie.
Awesome, Tier. Talagang mas gusto ko na makuha yung libro bukas eh. No? I might go to a bookstore tomorrow to get that book because I can't wait for those stories na malaman ko.
Kay Coach Noli nga tayo makabili yan.
Okay. Coach Noli, it's your turn. Your favorite story that has been shared throughout this all process that resulted into this wonderful book.
I think na-mention nila kay Coach Jong, and I think this is really something I also resonated with it. Simply, I think the reason because it was both famous and infamous. So mas kilala namin yun, alam namin nangyari. But I've been going through I read most of the works via PDF nung hinihintay pa lang namin. But also now I'm reading it in the mornings. Early mornings I would one or two essays. I'm just so happy to really resonate to so many things. Gusto ko rito rin yung sinulat ni Ada Milby, ni Rebo Sagisag, and even alam mo sa amin, meron kaming writers na dalawang student athletes. Sila yung dalawang pinakabata, si Jed Diamante saka si Gian de la Cruz.
Yes, yan. Okay yan.
I'm just so happy that they also stood up alongside these giants of names in Philippine sports. And, they give me so much hope about the power of proper mentoring and proper setting of standards and examples. Alam mo yung to be with us on a monthly thing, I can only imagine the kind of effect that we have given Jed and Gian. And if they were able to translate it into words, which is, I think, more difficult, what more into deeds and acts, which I think would be easier compared to the writing part. And I'm looking forward to seeing them also bloom when they become older, when they become more influential in their spheres of influence. And yeah, so those are essays in the book that I resonate also because especially Jed and Gian, who are both from Mindanao.
Yeah, Jean's
and
the
by
young
the way,
one. Yeah.
Yeah, Gian's 22.
Yeah.
You can just text Belay or me if you want to get your copy. Ano na lang, grab, pick up or whatever.
Yes,
we can,
Yeah.
Definitely, I will get that.
Trabahuin mo na muna. Pero Jay, wag muna. Claudia, Jay, wag muna kumuha ng libro. Hayaan natin si Coach Noli na trabahuin muna yung mga kopya natin, pirmado ng lahat ng tao.
No, that was the thing.
Alam mo,
That was
kahit, alam mo, kaya ko antayin yan. I can get a book that I will read already as it is, but for my personal copy, I want a book that's autographed by everybody. I don't mind having 3 copies of the book as long as one of them is fully autographed by everybody.
ang grabe yung plano namin yan. Sana kung hindi lang nag-COVID, we were really looking forward to the dinner of writers,
May launching.
Yeah, talaga. We were, but we all agreed naman in principle na when things are better, we would still gather the writers, have a good place in, somewhere na maganda, masaya. And, parang...
Ito na. I have a proposition you cannot refuse.
Nakaw, patay.
I have a proposition you cannot refuse.
Sige.
I am offering to act as your host for free.
Yeah.
Wow.
Noted.
Classic.
Naka-recorded to.
Labang kayo.
It's on record.
Okay yun. The hostess with the hostess.
Sabihan na namin si Gang.
Yes, you should tell her. Pero ito yung Papa B. Pag nakuha ko yung libro, I will work for those autographs myself para may picture ako kasama sila, di ba?
Yeah.
Hawak-hawak yung libro.
Uy, okay din yun, Brad.
Oo.
Maganda din yun.
Kaya I will work on that myself, di ba? Mas magandang idea yon. Pero Papa B,
Kaya
being you as our guest, oo.
Makapunta ka ba ng Davao?
Tignan natin. Posible yan. Mawala lang tong COVID na to. Posible yan. Mangyayari yan.
Yeah.
Pero, Papa B, being you as our guest host, I will give you the honor of giving perhaps the final question to our guests for this episode.
Well, my final question is that I will center on the book. The book talks about winning in times and in the landscape of adversity. For you as educators, first and foremost, and as part of the Philippine sports landscape, what will you say to the youth of this country who will would want to pursue sports as a means for them to get ahead in their lives? And number two, what will you tell them about what sports actually gives to a human being? Lalim, no?
Miss Universe yata.
To be honest, that kind of
Ano naman, Coach
question,
Oli, sanay ka
sa
naman
ganitong
sa akin sa
oras,
Miss Universe Quest.
parang nagising ako doon na wala pa akong kape nito. Or pinipilit kong gisingin yung utak ko, natutulog na ako eh. Biglang,
Okay lang yan, Coach Tony. Bibigyan kita ng SAS tsaka Corona pag panalo ka.
Alam mo, sasagot ko lang dyan. Kaya sagot ko lang dyan, Sir Boyet, is hugot din eh. Hugot sasagot ko dyan eh.
Oh, wow.
Hugot. Nasabi ko to hugot na to eh. Sasagot ko dyan. Sasabihin sa mga atleta, isang hugot. Okay ha? Nakakapagod. Pero pipilitin kong habulin at abutan ka.
Nice.
Diba?
Nice.
So, I'm putting to the ball. Hindi ganun din. Being an athlete, it's really tiring to be an athlete. Nakakapagod na pag. Pero if you really want to achieve something, you got to have faith na kahit hindi mo pa siya maabot, alam mong maabot mo siya. It's because you have the courage at the present, matapang ka, kahit mapagod ang utak mo, pagod ang puso mo, pagod ang katawan mo, you will try hard and be determined to reach that goal because of your purpose and you have faith. Yun ang sasabihin ko sa mga atleta.
Sound effects talaga hinihintay ko eh.
Miss Dina naman.
Miss Dina.
I think you cannot find a better teacher than sports. Sports is education, and I look at the student athletes. They don't realize they have a big leg up in life. Biro mo at such a young age, nag-aaral, nag-ensayo. Aba, you're setting these kids up for life. And sport is even important sa mga developmental goals. Do you know that the UN has about 17 sustainable development goals, of which 6 they have prescribed sports to even help achieve those goals. So saan ka pa? 'Di ba? Kumbaga sa sabon, dito ka na. 'Di ba? I hope people realize that sport still matters more than ever. And that's why we are here. That's why we still do what we do, because we feel so strongly about it.
Tsaka nandun talaga yung entrepreneurial touch eh.
May ganun pa eh, no?
Oo, di ba? Cry kunyari. No. Really. I mean, given another day, we'd probably be crying because that's how passionate we feel about it.
That's right.
I agree.
Yes.
Coach Noli.
yeah, I'll make it just find mentors and read books. Especially sa larangan ng mga atleta natin, I think we need to encourage them to keep on reading books as well. Just wag lang yung i-hydrate yung physical self, but also hydrate the mental side. Lalo na sa panahon ngayon, just find yourself in the company of a good book, and then continue growing yourself in the process. And of course, finding mentors along the way, it expedites the growth process. So yeah, yun lang sa akin.
Okay, fantastic. Grabe, Claudia, Papa B, I'm blown away. This is parang borderline emotional slash educational slash inspirational tong episode na to, and I cannot thank you more, guys. Sobra maraming salamat for gracing this episode, Coach Oliver, Ma'am Dina, Coach Noli. Final messages and mga pabate greetings and something to promote. It's your opportunity now. Miss Dina, let's start with you.
Well, I want to thank your show. Who the heck are we? I mean, yeah, who the heck are we? But well, I hope they kind of know who the heck we are. But it's you guys helping bring the message out there. So thank you so much, and more power to you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Coach O, alam ko, mag-umpisa na kayo.
Yes. First of all, thank you. Sabi nga, who the heck are we? Di ba? Sino ba kami? But we are just a coach kami, sports leaders, but we know that we can make a difference in the people's life. Di ba? Sabi nga nila, coaches can change a person's life in a matter of time than a regular person does. So, talaga, sports matters. And of course, yun lang, please support the PBL, especially the Choco Mucho. Choco Mucho. So please pray for us. We may not be that star-studded or the strongest team, but we will really work hard and have faith in aiming that goal. Yun lang. And of course, shout out also to the Ateneo community. And of course, I will not be here. It's not kung hindi dahil sa Ateneo community, the athletics office, University Athletics Office of Ateneo, and thank you, Coach Noli and Ma'am Gang and Sir Rico for giving us the opportunity to write in this book, to show the people that that sports matters, and I'm really happy to be part of a legacy in Philippine sports by being with these people. So thank you very much, Sir Jay, Sir Boyet, and Claude for having us.
Thank you very much. And in a week's time, nasa Ilocos kayo. Sinabi ko kay Noel Zarate, uwian niya ako ng Bagnet. So pag nakita mo siya doon, pakikurot ha. Sabihin yung Bagnet ko.
Sabihin ko po.
Coach Noli,
Yeah,
it's
Jay,
your turn.
thank you. Boyet, thank you. Claude, thank you. And I'm just grateful to spend the evening with you. If you regarding the book, if you want to get copies, you can contact any of the writers. At the moment, we did not print much, but I just want to say that more than half of it pre-sold na. We have winning still partners wherein groups and organizations bought at least 100 books per organization, and they're giving it away to their leaders, coaches, athletes, and stakeholders. And we're excited. We're looking forward for these stories to be shared. And I think this is not just about the 27 writers in the book, which it might appear to be the case, but what we really want them to see also or to appreciate is the process of doing it. If this kind of project was made 100% virtual by people that really didn't meet face to face, imagine the power we can do with teams that meet regularly, with people who do this face-to-face interaction regularly. Imagine the power we can do that. Of course, I think, and again, as one of the conveners of this project, as the project director, what really worked would be the right people in the group and creating a shared goal and shared aspiration and taking care of it. And, with those things in mind, I have so much hope in Philippine sports, and hopefully the young athletes will learn much from the book as well. So thank you very much.
Awesome. Thank you very much again. Guys, sa mga nakikinig, sa mga nanonood, winning still. You gotta read that, gotta grab that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Winning still.
Thank you again.
Thank you, Coach Noli, Miss Dina, and Coach O.
Maraming
And
salamat.
for yes. Ayan.
So, yeah, that has been our wonderful episode right there. Winning still. What a book. I mean, I always dreamed about athletes and coaches or everyone involved in sports write about their anecdotes, their wonderful stories, or what was going through their minds with regards to a particular scenario or their experience in in playing, training, or coaching, diba? I mean, you the Americans always have this, and we are fascinated being a masasabi natin student of sports that seek this kind of information. We always go foreign, 'di ba? Kasi yung mga foreign athletes, they are the ones who are fond of writing or journaling or anecdoting this stuff. That's why I'm really thankful that Coach Noli Ayo and company were able to develop this kind of book that I think it is really, really vital to us, fans of Philippine sports, to athletes alike, to aspiring athletes alike, and to the coaches, or just to everyone. Kasi hindi lang naman pang
Mm,
sports to eh. I mean, it's inspiring all across the
that's
board
right.
in general sa life, di
let,
ba,
let,
Claudia?
let me just
Oh,
encapsulate what you're trying to say. In our experience, as far as the Philippine experience of athletes, local athletes are concerned, kasi more often than not, ang nahagip natin parati interview lang eh.
yes.
Interview
Yes.
ng
Oo.
athlete. May interviewer at may subject. Pero yung
Mm,
interviewer ang nagtatanong ng tanong at sumasagot lamang si atleta. The athlete only answers the
mm,
questions. Now,
Mm,
but in this case, this is a work that outlines really the innermost feelings of an individual, more than an athlete, an individual, a human being,
that's
a
right.
human that is as
Yes.
true.
human as you and me, that tells their story, that tells their innermost trials and tribulations, mentally and physically, about certain points in their lives, which resonated not only for them, but for the public at large. And it
That's
gives them
right.
an opportunity to, to tell their story, to tell their innermost feeling, to explain why they felt, why did they
Tama.
react like that, why
Tama.
did they do what they did at that
That's
particular
right.
moment in time. And
That's right.
That's true.
for many of us that are, as Jay said, are students of the game, students of sports, are just the audience. It gives us a bird's eye view, a more detailed explanation as to how these human beings work, how they
That's right.
function, how their
Uh-huh.
feelings are for certain occurrences in their lives. Because at the end of the day, they are just human beings just like you and me.
Amen.
They have frailties, they have failures, but
Hmm.
they have successes as well.
That's
Right?
right. And just to piggyback what you're saying, boy, it's I think it was Mom Dina that said, uh, players are treated as commodities, or athletes are treated commodities, and I hope that people with these, because we're athletes, all of us. I think the three of us were athletes at one point in our life, and uh, we
Yeah,
have
I think
struggles
so.
as well. I okay, fine. Jay, I was. Right. Okay, fine. I'll just speak on my behalf. We also have struggles. We can't always go into a game like 110% or 100%. We have struggles behind the scenes, and I'm sure that this book will be able to tell that story. And when we ask when you asked the question earlier, Boyd, regarding what was your favorite or what resonated, which story, and it was all of them, mostly actually all of them did say Coach Jong with Chico, and today is actually the anniversary of the infamous Gilas brawl against Australia, and I want to read that because he was really was in there, and he, of course, he
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 was
did some
involved,
action.
Yes,
He was
yes, big
He
involved, and there were
was.
involvement.
actions that
directly
I'm
involved.
sure that he doesn't want to think about because it wasn't really
Yeah, because
pleasant. But
he
I want to
received a
read
lot
that.
of flack for it. Yeah.
Yeah, I want to read that. So I'm gonna order that. Bella is the
Yes.
person that we should speak to, and I work with her, so I'll be shout out to Bella Fernandos. I'll be ordering, and then hopefully get the signatures of all the athletes,
Yes.
of all the riders in that war.
Writer, the
Yeah,
writer.
Oh,
Yeah,
right.
the
isama mo
author.
na yung picture. Isama mo na yung
Yeah,
picture.
Yes.
yeah.
But once again, Boy at Season, Papa B, thank you very much
It is
for
an honor,
for
Claudia and Jay. And
mm,
it's a very, very, very big honor for me to pinch it. And if only because the topic today is also very dear to me. The
Yes.
Yes.
struggles
Mhm.
and journeys of our athletes. It means more that you have asked me to join you today. Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you very much.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. And to you guys, our listeners, our viewers, thank you very much once again for tuning to Who the Heck Are We? Again, we are on YouTube, on video, and on Spotify on audio. So you can get Who the Heck Are We wherever you get your podcast. And we are on YouTube. So better hit that subscribe button, like, and share our videos. Once again, Who the Heck Are We is part of the Globally Ballin Network, which produces the Globally Ballin podcast by Aaron. Aaron said talks about any sports here and around the globe. The Globally Ballin Network also produces 5 minutes with. They have Nico Salva as a guest in one of those episodes, breaking down films and plays for you guys to analyze it very well. We also have Hang Time with Denise Dinsai talking about volleyball, especially. Players are starting to get a busy right now because the PBL is up just around the corner. And again, a part of the Globally Ball Network is an eternity of basketball. Relive the glory days of Philippine basketball with Noel Zarate, Charlie Cuna, and Sid Ventura. Who the Heck Are We is brought to you by New Era Cap, Chops to Go, Hinaluban Farms, Joji's Delight, Arfatelli Ice Cream, and Cuts Apparel for your corporate uniforms, sports apparels, or the cycling apparels like you see right now in the picture. Just give it a message at Cuts Apparel PH. Thank you guys.